Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Question says, هل يجوز إحراق المصاحف الممزقة أو التي فيها غلط ثم دفنها? With regards to having a mushaf that is ripped up, torn up, totally worn out, or a mushaf that is printed incorrectly or copied or written incorrectly, is it permissible to burn it, then bury it? In other words, how does a Muslim discard or dispose of a mushaf that is unsuited for reading? It is worn out, ripped apart, has holes in it, it can't be used. How is the Muslim to do away with this mushaf? All right, what is the procedure? Or is it just to be kept and stored? Al-Jawab. The question says, إذا بليت أوراق المصحف وتمزقت من كثرة القراءة فيها مثلا أو أصبحت غير صالحة للانتفاع بها أو عثر فيها على أغلاط من إهمال من كتبها أو طبعها ولم يمكن إصلاحها جاز دفنها بلا تحريق، وجاز تحريقها ثم دفنها بمكان بعيد عن القاذورات ومواطئ الأقدام صيانة لها من الامتهان وحفظا للقرآن من أن يحصل فيه لبس أو تحريف أو اختلاف بانتشار المصاحف التي طرأت عليها أغلاط في كتابتها أو طباعتها. The answer says, if the pages of the mushaf become so old and so worn out, they become ripped up, torn apart, extremely tattered, because the people have read it so many times, as an example, or the people cannot use the mushaf anymore, or the mushaf is unsuited because it was printed incorrectly, it was written incorrectly, there are some mistakes, and it cannot be fixed. The mistakes can't be fixed, or the pages cannot be, they cannot be fixed as well. Okay, it cannot be revamped or renewed. The mushaf cannot be renewed, is the word that I'm looking for, and things like this. Then it is permissible to bury the mushaf. Bury the mushaf without burning it. You can bury it without burning it. The muftis, they then say, and or وَجَازَ تَحْرِيقُهَا ثُمَّ دَفْنُهَا. It's permissible to burn the mushaf, to burn it, then bury the burnt mushaf, the ashes and the burnt papers. Listen carefully. The first scenario is just to bury it. The second scenario is to burn it, then bury it. And it must be buried in a place that is far from filth and dirt, impure things, waste of people. It is to be far from any place which people use as a road or a bridge. It cannot be walked upon, it cannot be trod upon. And this is out of respect for the mushaf and protecting it from being desecrated. And is also from the aspect of protecting the people from fighting and arguing over something which is in the mushaf, which is not a part of the Quran. The Muslims fighting and the distortion of Allah's book taking place. Okay? It then says here, anything that took place that was printed incorrectly, written incorrectly, that is not from the Quran, that fell into the mushaf, to protect the people from thinking or feeling that this is the words of Allah. These are the words of Allah, and that's not the case. That's a mistake from a human being. وقد ثبت في باب جمع القرآن من صحيح البخاري أن عثمان بن عفان رضي الله عنه أمر 4 من خيار قراء الصحابة بنسخ مصاحف من المصحف الذي كان قد جمع بأمر أبي بكر رضي الله عنهم، فلما فرغوا من ذلك أرسل عثمان إلى كل أفق بمصحف مما نسخوه وأمر بما سوى ذلك من القرآن في كل صحيفة ومصحف أن يحرق، ولم ينكر عليه عهد من الصحابة إلا ما روي عن ابن مسعود، لكنه إنما أنكر قصر الناس على المصحف الذي أرسل به عثمان إلى الآفاق ولم ينكر التحريق. He says that in Sahih Bukhari, in the chapter of the compilation of the Quran, the canonization of the Quran, it is authentically reported that Uthman radiallahu anhu, Uthman ibn Affan, he commanded and he ordered 4 of the best reciters, the top reciters, the chief reciters, the 4 supreme reciters from the Sahaba, to copy all of the mushafs that were based upon the Mushaf of Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr's original compilation of the Mushaf, he commanded these 4 companions to copy that Mushaf. And then when they finished, Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he sent these different Mushafs to the different regions of the Islamic empire, of the Islamic state, under his caliphate. Every region and land for which he was in charge, he sent a main Mushaf for them to take and to adopt and to copy and to memorize from. Tayyib. And all other scrolls, all other compilations, all other canons, all other versions of the Mushaf, he commanded for them to be burnt. And none of the Sahaba disagreed with Uthman. None of them criticized Uthman, except for Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Ibn Mas'ud said something about that act. And Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, he didn't oppose Uthman in doing what he did, but he only made inkar with regards to the people thinking that there was only one mode of recitation. There is only one way of reciting it, and that's it. And if it's not written in Uthman's manuscript, then it's wrong. That's what Ibn Mas'ud had a problem with, based off of the reality that the Quran had different dialects and different modes of recitation. Tayyib. And Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he never had a problem or an issue with what Uthman did with regards to the standardizing of the mushafs and sending them throughout the Islamic empire, and the concept of burning. That's what the Ibn Mas'ud didn't have a problem with. The tahriq, he didn't have a problem with that. وبالله التوفيق وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. And with Allah Azza wa Jalla all success, may Allah send prayers upon our Prophet Muhammad, his family members and companions. And this fatwa was given by the standing committee or the permanent committee of scholars, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best.